Hi everyone, it's time for Dear Corinne, and this week's letter is about social anxiety. So it's Dear Corinne, I am suffering from social anxiety. I just cannot bring myself to be more outgoing, and I find it difficult to trust people. What can I do? Signed, Socially Awkward. So that, first of all, thank you for writing in. That is something that we all feel at one time or another, I believe. So our brain has three jobs. One of them is to avoid pain, the second is to seek pleasure, and the third is to conserve energy. So in a social setting, the pain that we're trying to avoid is rejection. We want people to accept us, and that feeling of vulnerability is also painful because we don't like to feel vulnerable. We like to feel confident, like we know what we're doing. But when you're meeting somebody new, you don't know what you're doing, and you don't know that other person and how they're going to respond to you. And so there's a lot of unknowns there. So that's going to bring up some feelings of fear, the fear, of course, of rejection, the fear of looking foolish, the fear of, not being accepted in the group, which is really important to us as human beings. So one thing we can talk about, and hopefully this will help you, is how to, first of all, accept those emotions, that emotion of fear, and not put any kind of judgment on it or shame on feeling that anxiousness, the social anxiety, not calling yourself weak because of it. I know in our society sometimes we say that feelings are a sign of weakness, that if you feel afraid or if you feel angry that you are not as strong as other people, but that is simply not true. All of us feel emotions, and there's nothing wrong with feeling emotions. They have a purpose. So first we want to name that emotion, and so look at what you're actually afraid of. Is the other person intimidating? Are they trying to make you feel afraid? Is the other person in kind of a one-up position where either socially, financially, educationally, intellectually, you feel like they're higher than you are? What is it that you're actually afraid of? Is it your brain just saying, this is scary, I'm being vulnerable? So get very specific, and there's a list of emotions that I can send to you if you would like, that can help you zone in and be very clear about what you're feeling and what's happening in your body. Does it feel like butterflies? Do you feel tension in your shoulders? Does your jaw tense up? So kind of, yeah, so name it first of all, welcome it. Don't be afraid to feel it, because it's okay to feel those emotions. And I've often said emotions come in uncomfortable and comfortable, pleasant and unpleasant. And if you want to try to get rid of the unpleasant emotions like sadness or disappointment or frustration, you're going to get rid of the good ones too. So because when you pick up one end of the stick, you're going to pick up the other end of the stick. So we want to feel emotions because that's what makes life so rich and wonderful. So we want to welcome it without judgment. We want to recognize that nothing has gone wrong. It's okay to feel those feelings. And I have decided not to even name them negative emotions, just unpleasant or uncomfortable, and that's good enough. Because negative can kind of be like a judgment word. And then you want to describe how it feels, like I was saying, in your body. What does it feel like? And be curious, I wonder why my shoulders are tense right now. Wonder why I'm breathing really shallow. What am I, what does this emotion feel like? And then just allow it to pass through. And for 2 minutes, you can just set your timer and say, okay, I'm just gonna feel this for 2 minutes. And honestly, you don't have to, when it comes to the trust, you don't have to trust everyone. You can be a little cautious. I think that's wise to be cautious. You don't know whether a person is trustworthy when you first meet them. And so you can allow yourself time to get to know that person and see if you can trust them. And if you've known them for a while and you still don't trust them, maybe that's a gift of discernment. Maybe there's something that isn't trustworthy about them. So that might not necessarily be a problem. So that's just a thought on that. But yeah, if you want to to do an emotional reboot, here's how that goes. It's a 2-minute reboot. So first you just name it. What are you feeling? Get as specific as possible, and then welcome it, describe it, and then allow it. That's the emotional reboot. And you could do this writing it down. Maybe imagine yourself in different social settings. Maybe one of them is a date, if you're dating somebody, or another one could be like a work situation where you're meeting a new client, or maybe it's even like family members, like cousins or aunts that you haven't seen in a really long time, and there's this expectation that you know, like them or something like that. And that can be awkward because if you haven't seen them and you don't know them very well, and yet there's this expectation that you get along, that can be a little bit awkward too. So you might want to just look at some of those things, like what are the expectations? Is this a high stakes meeting? Is this a client that you have to, get this sale on? And so there's that financial pressure on you. That could be it as well. So really just getting curious about it is one of the best ways to overcome social anxiety. And each situation is going to be different. So you'll want to analyze each one, that social setting is different, the work setting is different, and the family. And each one has a different kind of anxiety. And so I think self-compassion is super important, just recognizing that it's okay to feel those things and that that's totally normal, that you're human, and to love yourself for that and be grateful for being able to feel, because you want to feel the pleasant and the happy and the good and exciting feelings as well. And so we need to feel both of them to be fully human. And thank you for writing in, and I hope that was helpful. And we'll see you next time on Dear Corinne. Thank you.